Hey ratbags, it's Jade, another video today talking about 7 Days to Die. Obviously I told you guys it's on Xbox Games Pass, it's the old version of the game, not the current PC version. Everyone was a bit excited when it first got announced, but of course no, it wasn't going to be the new stuff. A lot of you guys were super excited by a post they put out last night which said we are doing early work on the new console version, stay tuned. So this is good news, absolutely. If it goes through and there's no other mess arounds or muck ups, fantastic stuff. But rein it in people, this doesn't mean you're going to get an update next month, 2 months, 3 months, maybe 6 months. It's still probably like 9 months to a year away from actually happening. So we're going to go over some of that as well and go over what they've originally said just in case you're catching up on the whole saga, but also taking a look at them and their PR and their management and communication, why it's still so bad. They really need to get their moderators on board with where they're going. So back last year in September, literally only a week or so after I did my last kind of 7 Days to Die video about it, they were talking in a live stream again, and this guy Vedu42 gave you guys all the big news.
So we want to go into gold next year. We're going to do our best, but we have a vision for this game. If it's not good enough to meet that vision, then we're going to keep going. That's what we'll do. That's what we've always done. On top of that, we're in negotiations with several companies on being our console porting partner. So rest assured, it's coming back to console. It's we want to do that. We're committed to that, and it's going to happen. You know, it may not happen when you want it to, but it will happen. So we wanted to at least let you guys know that we're thinking about you and we're moving in the business direction to make that happen.
So of course I'll leave the link to the original video and creator. I'm sure he's a big fan of 7 Days to Die, and I think he's done a few videos covering the news with obviously a much more positive take.
We're going to target the new consoles. We're going to try to make it backport to the old consoles. We have a lot of video options. We think we can make it work on the old consoles too. But and we do. Our dream is to have it cross-play between multiple stores. You know, it would be PlayStation, Xbox, other stores too, possibly the Epic Store or Microsoft Store, all cross-played with dedicated servers. So
you get the idea. That again all sounds great, and this was September last year. So why do their moderators still this week just gone are telling people on the forums that the old version's never going to get updated? One of their senior moderators, the most current news from TFP regarding console version 7 Days to Die is that it's been sold at the above sites and will no longer receive updates of any kind for that version of the game. You're buying a game that's static and will remain that way always. TFP are interested in finding a partner to bring a new version of the game to next gen consoles. More or less, I ad-libbed a little bit there, but you got the idea. So this was literally last year and it's still been repeated this week. Someone was asking about crossplay between PC and Xbox, and the reply was it's not currently possible. You and your brother are playing 2 complete different versions of the game. Later, when the PC game is finished, TFP have plans to release a new console version that matches the PC version and allow crossplay on the different platforms. Several of the updates to A20 have been focused on laying the groundwork for this future possibility. Now to be clear, moderators are not employees of fun pimps. Sometimes they may get some perks and stuff, and unless they've actually employed on an actual level as a community manager, they can obviously get things wrong. But for such a long time now, they have been one of the biggest points of contact on the forums and discords, and yet they're continuously spouting kind of wrong or misleading info, like this one from Original Survivor. Going off on a tangent that basically saying that the porting job is done by a new publisher and it might be up to them about the console versions and whether or not we get a backport or just a new next gen one. They saying it positively as well, even new old one as well, but they've got the licensing rights. But he doesn't know this for definite, and he might as well be a YouTuber like me, spouting just my opinion, and I guess that's what he's doing. But I would say as a moderator, surely you might be able to check up on this before actually replying. But it was more of a reply to about why it went onto the Xbox. And yet again, more PC wank race stuff from their moderators. This one saying that they are, yes, reminder that the studio is a PC game studio. Studio's not going to be around for another 7 years if they can't actually start defining themselves as just games makers. There are plenty of studios out there that can do both. they aren't like completely rock and stone. They're very, very similar nowadays, having consoles and PCs. But here's the kicker from one of their moderators, again, clueless. As the new game, the current version cannot be updated, period. They may work out some kind of discount for existing owners, but that would be extremely difficult to track, especially for those who purchase physical copies. This was replied to someone asking about his physical copy. Like, you've got to be some sort of like clown living inside the cave if you haven't seen A, the developers, or heard about them talking about backporting, and B, said they're committed to doing it for consoles, for you to still be spouting the same bullshit only last week. Also notice how many moderators are talking about this in the last week as well, because they try and shut down and make any kind of negative comments or forums go away as quickly as possible. In my opinion, and only in my opinion I guess, the moderation team of 7 Days to Die have been atrocious over the years, not really allowing fair discussion and discourse, punishing people that bring up criticism, rightly so, that you should be allowed to raise given the situation that's unfolded, and I would say yeah, need to maybe have a refresher course and also talk to the developers a little bit more. So do get excited. There is a chance that hopefully they're talking about backporting as well. But look at the words. We're working on the new console version. Nothing about an older update. And this is the problem with FunPimps, why they need to work on their PR. They put kind of bullshit out in streams that hardly anyone watches, and then it has to be regurgitated by YouTubers, and the only actual statements we've got officially are on their forums, and that's from 3 and a bit years ago. They haven't been very good at keeping console players in the loop in an official capacity, leaving it slack, leaving YouTubers to run off. And of course, if I've got opinions that are negative, then that could influence a lot more. So wouldn't it have been more simpler to do more official statements? Even if you've got nothing new to say, you should be telling people what the situation is every step of the way you can. You don't have to promise stuff that might not be true, you just simply say that we're still working on stuff. And I do believe that they just shouldn't be making cracks or jokes like this one, wanted for neglecting consoles. That comes from a developer that's in tune with its community, that has a really good sense that they, appreciate each other. I've got news for you, FunPimps. Console fans, a lot of them don't appreciate you because you've had the rights to 7 Days to Die for 3.5 years. 3.5 years it's taken. Understandably, the reasons you've listed are all valid. Waiting until the PC version goes gold is valid because it's extremely hard work porting a game and will be just like we was in the last time where you're porting a game that's not finished. But the flip side of course has always been that we could have maybe got at least a few stability updates, a hotfix for the MD5 bug that's still flying around, maybe just a little parity update to add a few bits because apparently the code was there from Iron Galaxy to implement the latest update, but then Telltale went under like 2 weeks before it was meant to go live. So please don't tell me sob stories if you're a PC player defending 7 Days to Die. The FunPimps got screwed over. Yes, we know, but they've had 3.5 years of raking in the rewards, selling loads of copies on consoles still, and of course big money from Games Pass. It's gone past that, way past feeling sorry for them. They had bad, poor business decisions in the first place. It took them far too long to work out they could get a port done to consoles, and I think, hopefully, a port back to the old versions. But that's still not guaranteed yet. I still have issues believing what they've said. I've spent the last year and a bit researching more and more about what it's like to be working with devs. I've formed friendships with more and more devs than I ever have done, from games like VALHEIM to Tribes of Midgard and the Grounded team. I've learned more and more about what it takes, so I'm trying to be more forgiving and understanding about the processes to go through. So when I say that the FunPimps are just not that great at this kind of stuff, I say that genuinely, not being malicious, but just comparatively to the other companies that I've spoken and spent time with. And so them getting hyped about a console version, like I said, it's going to be a while away. They still have maintained it won't go live until the PC version does. I haven't got a release date for the PC version yet, and we're kind of expecting maybe that will be next year. So please don't get too hyped. You will get an update, hopefully. Guaranteed that it's going to hit old consoles, I'm not too sure. Are we going to have to spend a ton more money if we have to buy next gen versions? No one knows. Something still needs to be clarified, and that's something that FunPimps need to do more regularly. But yeah, my best bet would be towards the very end of the year or next year that we'll see console getting an update or the new version. The saga of 7 Days to Die isn't done yet. I will be covering it. I have been thinking about trying a classic version of the game and giving it a shot. That's what they're calling it on Xbox Games Pass. Because you know what? All in all, I know I chat shit sometimes because I just don't like the devs and what they've done. But I would say this, the game is still functionally a good game. It was a good game. It's just looking really old and dated and just not very enjoyable in so many ways. And that's what 7 Days to Die has always offered, a great compelling experience, even in its crappiest state on console. We shouldn't have to be PC players to experience it. We shouldn't have had to spend money on it just like you told us to, Fun Pimps, a good couple years ago, if that was the only way we was going to play updated version. And that's what usually makes my blood boil. Statements like that over the years have just meant that Fun Pimps have treated console players like absolute crap. Anyway, I'm going to stop because I was going to go off on one. I've already done this video twice now. That's it, I'm done. Like I said, if you want to see me do it, maybe I'll do it, maybe I won't, who knows. But I'll let you know. Any brand news about 7 Days to Die, I'll let you guys know. Until next time, laters.